Broadcasting to you live from the Orion Spiral Arm of the Milky Way Galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, somewhere outside of the Supreme Court building. My name is Brian Engelman. Today is Tuesday, June 30th, 2026, and this right here, the thing that you are watching, is called the TNAM Daily Show here on the New American Media. Supreme Court betrays the United States with birthright citizenship, as if they were unaware of birth tourism, as if they were unaware of the intent behind passing this amendment to make former property, former slaves residing inside of America into citizens. As if a clarification on that at this point wasn't necessary. I can't understand how they came to this, other than you got three nitwits in the Supreme Court that always vote incorrectly. Those three ladies, Sotomayor, Kagan, Ketanji Brown Jackson. Almost always, north of 90% somewhere. Open up the newspaper and scroll down and check the box score on that current batting average of stupidity. They always vote stupid, 9 out of 10 times or more. Now, at a lower batting average are John Roberts and Amy Coney Barrett. They don't have a very high batting average like Kavanaugh, Alito, and Thomas. But it's better than the miserable below Mendoza line hitting ladies of the left. Call them the ladies of the left because they're not judges. These are leftist activists who were installed into these positions because Barack Hussein Obama was able to capture 2 terms somehow. I'm sorry, let me clarify. 3 terms. They're all right? They're all I'm rearranging the words in this sentence I'm trying to get out. Barack Hussein Obama is responsible for those 3 loser ladies of the left. Sotomayor, Kagan, and Ketanji Brown Jackson, because Joe Biden ruled by auto pen. What does that mean? Well, it means that I don't think Joe Biden was in charge of that administration. I think it was the administrative class of the people surrounding Barack Hussein Obama that ran that last administration. So they're going to get credit for Ketanji Brown Jackson, who writes the stupidest statements. You look at how much each judge talks. She talks the most. You know, some of the smartest people you'll meet will pass on words of wisdom saying something to the lines of, you should listen more than you speak. Dumb people talk a lot. Yeah, that's real easy for you to say. You're the guy that goes on the air Monday through Friday at noon Eastern time for the TNAM Daily Show. Seems like you got a lot to say, dipshit. Okay. Amongst the Supreme Court judges, the one that talks the most has the least to say. The one that talks the most might really just be in love with their voice, or they are really trying to get it on the record, all of their backward bullshit baloney ideas. You know, so then 50 years from now, somebody could cite the brilliant Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, who in her dissent said, derp-a-der. Is that D-E-R-R-R-P or D-E-R-R-R-R-R-R-P? Which one? I got to type. I'm a stenographer, not a I don't know. Derp. Barrett, Roberts, either compromised. Well, I guess compromised is the good term there, because it is my assertion and has been since Obamacare. Of course, Barrett wasn't around for that. Roberts, now it's easy to see where Comey Barrett lands. They are compromised. Those three loser ladies of the left, they are not judges. They are activists. They are hardcore leftist activists. You get it? They're not justices. They never get stupid wrong. 95% of the time, they're on the wrong side of history. But compromised, that means either bribed with something they want, and someone was sharing around the book deal for Amy Comey Barrett. Saw that moving around. I haven't verified the validity of that claim, but it's interesting because that is one of the number one ways to do money laundering. One of the number one ways to money launder is through book deals, or maybe being a professor at some prestigious left-wing university like Nancy Pelosi, something like that. You know, you play for the right team, you play ball, you're going to get your millions. Don't you worry. We're going to find a way to pre-order hundreds of thousands of copies of your book and just pop that money into a nice retirement fund. No, it's not money laundering when we do it, they will say. But have you been bribed with something you want, like money? Have you been blackmailed for something embarrassing? Something you don't want everyone knowing about or talking about? And it's that guilt and that shame that make you sort of play ball. That theme was evident in Hamilton as we're celebrating our 250th birthday. Go America, Team America, World Police. By the way, I'm not all negative on this because this has cemented in place a new, urgent, blinking, flashing red light reason to pass the Save America Act. And it's also calling upon the citizens of this country to determine, what does the future of our country look like? How many red waves would it take to put a new law in place, to get to your 60 and make it easy? Since a standing filibuster, oh, that's too complicated to do. No, it's not. Thune and Murkowski and who is it, Collins and McConnell, idiots. Switch sides now and get the vote. But how many red waves would it take to make sure that a law can be passed? An amendment to the 14th Amendment. I don't believe we're a 51-49 country. No, I don't believe that we're 55-45. I think it's somewhere 80-20, maybe 75-25, maybe even a little bit more than that if you want to be generous. That 14th Amendment was written to make sure that those former slaves who had to suffer under their people selling them into slavery, being shipped over here, or born into it, by the way, or, well, not or, and in many cases, subjected to really awful stuff. You read enough about the Civil War, the Revolutionary War, the American colonial days, and you'll find several success stories of people who were able to become unstoppably talented. People who came over in a very bad situation. You know, some would argue it's the worst when you don't have bodily autonomy. Who became fantastic blacksmiths and who became fantastic inventors, thinkers, creators. and whether it was them personally or the next generation, took those skills, those talents, those aptitudes that they were able to develop and culminate while here and turn them into something fantastic and amazing for humankind. You don't really hear those stories a ton in school and not a ton in the media because it sort of goes against the America bad narrative that swept through the Democrat Party like a hantavirus on a cruise ship. But the 14th Amendment was clearly written to right that wrong. Everybody's using the territory of Guam today. I saw it on Tim. I scrolled past. I might have shared it on our X account for Tim Pool. I think I heard Crowder reference it. So you think, John Roberts and Amy Comey Barrett, you think that someone from China who can go on birth tourism to spend a week in Guam, pop out a kid, take the kid back and raise him to be a dirty commie. You said people from China, you said Chinese people are dirty. Communism is dirty. Socialism is dirty. Marxism is dirty. Stalinism, Leninism, you know, the typical calling cards of the left. Yes, it's very dirty. It's toxic, actually. Someone who flies in for a week or two on a vacation, pops out a kid, takes him back to Saudi Arabia. They can come back 35 years later after being indoctrinated in Iran under an Islamic totalitarian supremacist regime to come and conquer this nation because they're just as American as you, don't you know? They popped out here and then quickly hopped on a flight and then went back to Nigeria, quickly hopped on a flight and went back to Israel. Oh, did that wake you up? Maybe you got no problem with the Chinese communists. Maybe you have no problem with the Islamic supremacists. But maybe that one hit you differently. You wouldn't want a Jew to become American president, right? That message is specifically delivered to the people who don't see the threats in communism, socialism, Islamism. But for some reason, Zionism, whoa, they're the problem everywhere with everything. They're behind everything. They're under every rock. They're like blades of grass. Because it doesn't matter. I don't want a Canadian who was popped out in Seattle on a week-long vacation to go up there and get indoctrinated in Vancouver, learning backwards socialist bullshit, to come back here as an American citizen and govern our nation. I don't want it to happen to somebody who comes up here from Mexico. I don't want it to happen to I do not want them here. I do not want them anywhere. Not Greek, not German, not Italian. Certainly not French. It's not about one particular place, one particular ideology. If you're raised within the confines of this country, that's different. If you're born to American parents, that's different. Tough day at the Supreme Court today. This is very bad. Every illegal alien that snuck into the country is going to get rewarded by creating their anchor baby as an American citizen now, and then apply for chain migration to bring the parents that broke the law to do it. How in the world is that an American problem? How in the world is that an American caveat to our constitutional republic? How in the world is that an American restraint and obligation? There's the word. Why is it the obligation of America to cater to the child of two illegal aliens who snuck in here to create a baby? One of the phrases that's often used, and President Trump used it for stolen elections. 2020, he referenced this and said, well, if you rob a bank, you don't get to keep the diamonds. Or, you know, if you go to the safe deposit boxes or something. If you rob a bank, you don't get to keep the money. This is exactly allowing 40 million illegal alien invaders to rob a bank and keep the money. You broke in, you broke the laws. You were uninvited here. You're a trespasser. You're a criminal. But by the way, help yourself to a few stacks of $100 bills on your way out. I don't get this one in any regard. Oh, but hey, for the sports ballers, aren't you happy? Now men can't beat up on women in sports. Number one, just as incredulously as the founding fathers, under many interpretations by many interpreters, would say it would be ludicrous for the founding fathers to assume, to think, to ponder for even a second that when they wrote the 14th Amendment, it applies to two illegal aliens who break the law to get there. Tell me, in what universe would you consider that our founding fathers considered men would compete against women in physical acts? Now, that is different than a female of exceptional ability who wants to sign a very specific waiver and being educated on the dangers of competing with men, chooses to and can achieve the prize, achieve her right to volunteer to compete against men. That's different from low quality, low competitive men who say, I can't compete against guys. I'm going to go beat up on girls. Do you think there's a universe where we would need to waste the Supreme Court's time on something so obvious? Oh, wow, it was mixed. You know, the Supreme Court gave us some good and some bad. They've given us a lot of bad. But hey, at least Johnny can't beat up on Jamie anymore. Can't smash a volleyball, giving a little girl a concussion. Can't punch somebody into oblivion in the Olympics. Remember that one? That girl started crying. I've never been hit that hard my entire life. She quit after one punch or two punches. Riley Gaines being robbed of her gold medal, of her first place. I don't know if they gave out gold or what, to that William Thomas swimmer. All right, so the 14th Amendment, and when I say founding fathers, I mean we're talking after the Revolutionary War. You have founding fathers of this era. Oh, no doubt, Barack Hussein Obama and Donald Trump are founding fathers of this era, for better and for worse. 14th Amendment, one of the most important and frequently litigated parts of the U.S. Constitution, ratified July 9, 1868 during the Reconstruction era after the Civil War. Full text. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. Okay. You cannot reside in America if you're illegally in America. You don't have a right to be in, pick your college, say the Ohio State University. You don't reside at Ohio State because you aren't a student there. You're an interloper, a visitor at best, a guest at best. You do not reside there because you do not belong there. Simply sneaking into a basketball arena doesn't make you a member of the student body. Ugh, that first sentence was not written properly. Second, no state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, property without due process of law, nor denying to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. 5 sections total, covering citizenship, representation, disqualification of former Confederates, debt, and enforcement power. And as happy as we're supposed to be, well, the sports ballers, we threw them a bone with that one. Did you? Listen to how this is phrased. No state shall make or enforce any law, blah, 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 which shall abridge the privileges or immunities. My understanding and quick interpretation, because I'm doing show prep, I'm getting things set up. The way that the men and women's sports thing was written, I believe, if I'm reading it and interpreting it correctly, says that states can create laws to keep biological men out of women's sports. That is not right. That is not a good verdict. That is a terrible verdict. It's better than terrible, but it's backward. It's flipping backward. Just like the idea that a dude can become something that he's not. You're born a dude, you're born a lady, that's what you are. You can dress how you want to dress, partner up on any consenting relationship with somebody of age. No maps. Maps are not a thing. They're criminals and rapists. There are not minor attracted people. Be very clear about that. You can do what you want and love who you want, love how you want. But you can't become something you're not. You can chop things off. You can add things on, stitch things on. You could take hormones. You could dress. You could talk a different way. You can do all these things. By the way, everybody, hit the thumbs up button. Hit like, hit subscribe. But Guam could tip over. That I hear. Patriot Warrior Texas on the Rumble feed. Everybody, make sure you're following us on Rumble and YouTube. The ruling should have said that states shall not permit a biological male from competing in women's sports. That's what needed to be said. But I believe it's framed and phrased that states can prohibit, which means the default setting is, well, unless you make a law, you can do whatever you want. You can do anything as backward as you want. If my quick interpretation of that is accurate, and I allow myself that, well, you don't do your research. You don't. Yeah, I'll check with my crack team of researchers here. And by the way, we're all unpacking this together, but that's where your comments come in. That's where your conversation comes in. So leave your comments, leave a message. I try to read them when we do the show. I don't think it went far enough because it should have said no state shall make a law subjecting biologically female athletes from competing in sports against biological male athletes. Then it's done. Then it's just done. Now you're going to have 50 states jockeying over this. And just because Orange Man's SCOTUS said something, they're going to fight it just because. I'm going to virtue signal my ass off. And if I lose this ass, I'm going to become a boy. Not how it works. By the way, also, let me call your attention to our Instagram post and our X post. It is finally time to retire the phrase Trump's conservative Supreme Court. No conservative would have ruled on that 14th Amendment that way. No conservative would have left the language ambiguous enough to allow rogue states to do backward shit to put the lives of their lady athletes in jeopardy. You're talking boxing. You're talking basketball. You're talking volleyball. You were talking many places where women can be permanently injured or eliminated. The level of violence that men are capable of is something that the European mind cannot understand. Oh, that's a good one. Amy Phony Barrett. Amy Commie Barrett. Okay. You guys got to follow us on Rumble. Got to follow us on Rumble, everybody. And by the way, if you like the New American Media, please consider today, the last day of June, to be the day that you finally become a monthly subscriber to the New American Media so we can keep our lights on here at this bar. My name's Brian. I'm your bartender. We're going to talk about the stories on the TV screens behind me. Amy Comey Barrett, Amy Phony Barrett. These are good. Looka Cook says 3 L's. Yes. Loser lady leftists. I like alliterations. But yeah, you can become a monthly subscriber on Patreon, Rumble, and YouTube. It's as little as $5 a month. You just set it and forget it. Every 30-something days or whatever it is, depending on the month, it'll just click in and drop $5 into the cash register. I mean, it's just super helpful. I got one electric bill right here. I got a brand new 20 terabyte hard drive. I'm looking at a computer that I had to drop a few $1,000s on. It's just the average everyday maintenance. By the way, I'm speaking to you, some of you watching on X. I have to pay to get the access to stream this. I have to pay for Restream so that we can distribute this show. You know, it's not just flipping open a crappy old laptop and going. Not to mention the lights and the multiple devices. I got 3 different monitors that I'm looking at. Your support keeps us going. So please consider becoming a monthly sponsor in those places. Let me pull it up on the screen. You can also do one-time Rumble rant and super chat tips. We can close out. We can, in honor of America, we can have one final push today to make June the best month we can make it with your donations. Rumble rant tips, super chat tips. If you don't want to do that or can't do that, Venmo, Cash App, that's my name, Brian Engelman, Engelman, and PayPal is fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com. So this Supreme Court has just been a disaster. And then, you know, there are some wins within these, but they are so heavily overshadowed. I was intimately aware of birth tourism. I'm going to spare you the stories in the connection for reasons. But my God, birth tourism is happening, and it is not a good thing, and we should not be allowing this in any capacity. It also means that every birthing age person needs to be immediately deported. No more leniency, no more, hey, well, you're working here, maybe you should just stay here. No, I think that has been thrown out the window because of this ruling specifically. Time is short. This country has been in the effort of being conquered, in the midst of being conquered in a hostile takeover because of Barack Hussein Obama, Joe Biden, the deep state efforts. I mean, for the past 20 years, they've been trying to overthrow the sovereignty of this nation, you know, turn everything into one big jumbled melting pot, where if you let it, Islam will grow and Islam will conquer you. Because Christians, yes, do preach the gospel of accepting the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ into your heart so that you can be born again and live eternally, walking hand in hand with a creator that loves you. But it's voluntary. Look at what's happening across Europe. There is not an organized effort to show up and assimilate. The organized effort is to show up, form enclaves, create Islamic no-go zones. What did they say? 250,000 little girls brutalized by the attacking army. They're an attacking army. And Europe still hasn't figured out how to defend itself. And that's going to happen to America if you let it. And that's pretty much been the plan that's been in play full steam ahead for 20 years. Now, most libertarian-leaning people don't really care if you worship a God, the one and true only God, a false God, however you define that to be, whatever. But when the goal is to conquer and then put your religious connotations over top of it, which is Sharia, which you don't need to say Sharia law because Sharia is law, so you're like saying ATM machine, automatic teller machine. It's a redundant thing to say. The country of America is what the country of America is, and it's made up of the people. And if 40 million people can sneak in with backgrounds and criminal histories and ideologies that may or may not be compatible with our founding documents, our liberties, our documents in the Bill of Rights discussing negative liberties, things that the government shall not be allowed to do to you. It's not what government's going to give you. That's socialism and communism, and it always leads to misery everywhere. Well, it just hasn't been tried right. Then go somewhere and try it. Don't try it here. If you have 40 million people that don't have the same 20 years of schooling and education to understand why our system is the best, then they're going to show up and eventually vote for the other side and change the country, rot it from the inside out with rotten ideology. Be it Sharia's Islamic supremacy that looks you square in the eye and says, you're going to do what I say or else. That's a violent threat. I'm not here to assimilate with you. I'm here to conquer you. Okay. Mom Donnie. No. The government's going to give you this. We're going to give you grocery stores. We're going to give you free buses. We're going to give you. What are you giving? You don't create anything. No, but we're going to steal it from other people who are successful. It's the philosophy of greed. What do you mean? A poor person can't be greedy. They don't have anything. Oh, the most greedy people. How much can you steal on my behalf to put in my pocket? Go steal more. I want more. Where do you think that goes? Yeah, but those billionaires, they don't need money. Do you think billionaires are trying to steal your money that you don't have? That's the game plan. You think they're the worst people on earth. They don't want a big enough government to steal. Yeah, because they're hoarding it all for themselves. It's not how this works. Every century, somebody somewhere gets tricked into buying up their bullshit, and it leads to millions or tens of millions of deaths. Look it up. So we have John Thune, who's gaveling into sessions where President Trump could just appoint people to fill his vacancies. He keeps the sessions open just to close them, just so President Trump can't. Or wait, does he keep them closed? Does he close them so that they can't be open and he could make recess appointments? No, because it's recess. So I think I said it right the first time. I'm making sure, because some of this legal stuff and Congress is just, it's all slimy lawyers. A lot of traitors. Mitch McConnell at the top of that list. John Thune is... Hang on. Let me make sure I got this right. I've like... Is Thune closing or opening sessions to block Trump recess appointments? I think they gavel them closed. Let's see what Grok's going to tell me. Jamie. Yeah. He's using what's called pro forma sessions to block or at least prevent easy recess appointments. Recess appointments allow the president to temporarily fill vacancies without Senate confirmation when the Senate is in a long enough recess, generally 10 plus days. To block this power, the Senate holds pro forma sessions, very brief, often empty chamber meetings, sometimes just a few minutes, every few days during what would otherwise be a recess. This keeps the Senate technically in session. Okay, I was right to doubt my instinct of how I was saying that. They check back in so you don't go too long, so the president cannot make recess appointments. Tactic was used against Trump in 25 and has continued. Betraying the mandate to quickly confirm Trump's nominees. So why is Thune a traitor now? a long-standing bipartisan tactic. Both parties have used it in the past when they wanted to limit a president's recess appointment power. If you're on the team of the person, why are you blocking them? John Thune is not on the team. But somehow he's the air quote leader of the Senate. Deliberately keeping it open on paper to stop recess appointments. Traitor is strong partisan rhetoric coming primarily from the MAGA camp. Yeah, I know. So why is he a traitor? He's not pushing the Save America Act, voter ID and proof of citizenship. Senate has 53 Republicans, not enough for 60 votes on controversial bills without Democratic support or rule changes. That's his defense. Trump is being blocked by his own party. Although I do say that the Republicans, who are basically two wings of the same dirty bird as the Democrats, the Republicans have been phased out and conquered by MAGA. President Trump is nearly undefeated. The people he hand selects win the primaries. And they're phasing out the Republican in name only the rhino folk. Meanwhile, the Democrats have ceded their party to the Democratic Socialists, who are socialists. Dirty commie socialists. But there's still plenty of rhinos clogging up the way. So the rhinos are blocking Trump. The court is blocking Trump. It's not Trump, it's MAGA, but MAGA is Trump because have you ever had a Republican president in your lifetime that had gumption? That actually moved forward and didn't succumb to the slander and attack of the left? Was able to fight insurmountable battles? I mean, literally shooting at him over and over again. Literally indicting him over BS, changing statutes just so you can win your district attorney position, whether it's Letitia James or what's that little weasel from New York? What's that guy's name? Fannie Willis, Letitia James, and I'm thinking Eric. What's that guy's name? Who was that other weasel? I can see him. It was New York, right? Which three DAs attacked Trump hardest? Basically, Trump and the MAGA agenda is getting blocked at every step of the way. Every stage of the game, every step of the way. Alvin Bragg. Alvin Simon Theodore. Not to mention Jack Smith. So we're going to unpack it, and we want your comments. So hit the thumbs up button. My Rumble is frozen. Is your Rumble frozen? Hit the thumbs up button, hit like, hit subscribe, and buckle up, buttercups. The TNAM Daily Show starts now.
Your guide to the truth, thenewamericanmedia.com.
So here we are. Will there be an executive order to secure the elections? Will the Save America Act pass? Can we survive this Supreme Court situation? All right. Let's bounce through the stories. Let's first pull up our... Please make sure you are following us on Instagram at The New American Media. You'll get sneak preview on some of our shows. Bridget Gabriel reports 6 dead in Germany, mass shooting. 45-year-old man of Turkish descent opened fire at a facility for pregnant women. Okay. Domestic violence motive. Germany, some of the world's strictest gun laws. 6 people are still dead. Prayers to them. UFC caveman lawyer. What a great name. What a great name. Unfrozen caveman lawyer Phil Hartman from Saturday Night Live put out a post that says the ice ring that Admiral Byrd reported on his expedition got me thinking about the ice ring around your heart. The protected areas were established in 1961 under the Antarctic Treaty System, which governs all the land and water south of 60 latitude and protects against human development. The more you know. Fascinated with Antarctica, as we should all be. Oh, you know what I didn't play? I didn't finish yesterday's show with that hilarious post, and it's gone now. It timed out. I'll have to... I'm sorry, guys. It wasn't like time sensitive, and I followed the account, so hopefully I'll see another one and share it again. I really wanted to share that with you. It might be this guy. No, it's not this guy. Me at dinner wondering what topics to bring up. This might be me. Flat Earth. Oh, Antarctica. Those other issues you can't talk about. Goyslop. Well, I guess. Oh, free energy. Yep. 2030. The ice wall. Seed oils, chemtrails, war on consciousness, MK Ultra. Oh, you're having trouble playing this, you say? Let's refresh. Okay, I haven't covered that. You're having trouble playing this video. Why? What's Instagram doing? Let's try it again. If you haven't heard, there's a heat wave and Europe doesn't have air conditioning. Not enough of it. And we're supposed to feel bad that we have it. No. Here we go.
The ice packs, and the ice packs are melting and they're slipping on the floor because of them. It says the recently built cardiac unit of the Dusseldorf University Hospital in Germany, where heart surgery is performed, is currently measuring at 38 degrees Celsius. That's 104 degrees American. Medically stupid and unsafe. There is a
34 degrees Canadian.
Reason why operating rooms are kept at 68 degrees Fahrenheit. They are literally killing people with this aversion to air conditioning. I just can't believe, how stupid the European people are. It's astonishing to me how dumb they are. From being taken over to even Poland is being taken over now by the migration to this. It's like, wow. Damn. I mean,
it is like, wow, damn.
I really got to have a lot of respect for those Russian people because they are not stupid. They don't put up with any of this shit that the docile, European people. Y'all are fucking retards, bro. I don't know what else to tell y'all. No wonder you're being plucked by third world migrants. Y'all need to study the smarter white people around you, like the Russians, I would say. Can you believe this shit? And yet,
It's a recently built hospital that doesn't have proper air conditioning. That's not a proper nation. That's not a proper facility. That's nutty. Raise your hand if you're in the 90s today, by the way.
can you believe this shit?
No, not the 1990s. That would be great if you woke up and you could go to Blockbuster. All right, this is awful. Do I need to translate this? Let me see. Chilling account from Louis' aunt. A gang of people took this kid's life. We played you that video, unfortunately, yesterday. Last week, I meant.
Parce que quand vous voyez ces gamins qui sont en train de...
No, it's subtitles. But basically, the lawyer for one of the killers came out in tears after a meeting with her client. They watched the videos of Louis' murder together, and the monster was laughing. He was proud. Ooh, that comment. Women voted for this. Ooh, there's a lot to unpack there, but Gad Sad talks about suicidal empathy. Why would you let an invading army into your country to brutalize your people? I believe these are illegal aliens that did this. It's getting a little tough to remember every single case. French government. Lawyer allegedly came out crying because the person she has to support is laughing at the murder. All right. This meme is going around. Sophie Cunningham was pointing at the other team. And now it's like that mashup of where Leonardo DiCaprio sitting on the chair pointing at the screen like, hey, oh, there it is. Now it's Sophie pointing. And this one says, the founding fathers watching you pay property taxes. Let's buzz through them all. David says, is it time for the emergency broadcast system yet? Are we ready to take things back? Are we ready to just kind of fix things? Every day it's more indefensible stuff that we got to comprehend and figure out. So there you go. There's the founding fathers watching you pay taxes on your fireworks. Here's the founding fathers watching you ask permission to purchase a firearm. The founding fathers watching us let illegal aliens vote in our elections. Calling you out. Here's the founding fathers watching you pay income tax. Founding fathers watching us ignore the 10th Amendment. Any powers not specifically delegated to the federal government shall be left to the states. See, and that's the thing. When I said the SCOTUS ruling on men and female sports didn't go far enough, this is something that this should be a federal government issue. It applies to everybody equally across the nation. You can't let some states vote to allow slavery. Did you just compare slavery to not letting a trans woman compete against women like she's supposed to? Protecting the girls. Yeah, the 10th Amendment. Founding fathers watching you pay property taxes. Ugh. I owe an extra $100+ every single month now. Because somebody somewhere deemed that my home is theoretically more valuable, despite the fact that that doesn't put any theoretical, literal money into my pocket. They want more for it. They want the ability to tax you out of your place. You know, and they often talk about what a senior citizen that's retired. They're on retirement. They have a very set, strict income. They don't have extra money. You're going to force them out of their homes. Doesn't normally apply to able-bodied people like me, but it applies to all of us. Why does a government get to do that? We signed up for a term, lock it in. Lock it in. No, people are abusing it. What if when the prices go up? Shut up. We got to fix the property taxes. Anyway, this is a great meme. Sophie Cunningham has the #2 selling jersey in the WNBA. She's the main enforcement arm to keep Caitlin Clark from getting abused on the Indiana, whatever they're called. This is great, but I can't play it with music. There we go. Courtesy of the red, white, and blue. Remember who you are, American. This is America. Here's us the whole week leading up to the 4th of July. Let's go. The White House put that up. Courtesy of the red, white, and blue. This is so good. I know. I'm going to get to the horrible stuff in a minute here. I'm trying to stabilize so I don't get too angry. Am I following this account? Oh, I guess I am. Who's ready to celebrate the 4th of July in America 250? Gotta mute it. You are. Nope. That's you. You are. You. Sophie Cunningham. Nope. You are. You are. Uh-huh. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. You. Uh-huh. Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. You. I can't play with music, but it's pretty funny. What's this one that it won't show me? Oh, this is a good message. Philosophical. I saw Henry Rollins in college. It was a great night. Man, it was like 3 hours long. It was all off the top of his head. It was spoken word. It was comedy. It was poetry. It was all sorts of things. Marion's ready to celebrate. Sophie, point at me. Let's have a birthday bash, says Marion. Yeah, this is pretty good. This is Henry Rollins. Famously on a Tool song off their second album, Undertow. But let's put this life into perspective.
Rollins, for those of you who don't know me, don't worry. First off, don't worry. I am not running for office. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I don't care if you like me or not, and I'm not a comic, so you can relax. I've been allowed 3 minutes of your time.
Did he say comic or convict?
Thanks, Dennis. And
it's on the Dennis Miller Show. Oh.
So I figured out what I want to say in 3 minutes. I figured since you all are here and I'm here and we're both doing the same thing, which is breathing in and out, maybe I could shortly communicate with you. I just wanted to remind you of something.
I wonder if I can play 3 minutes of this if it was on the Dennis Miller Show. The message is timely, so we're going to provide original, transformative commentary based on this. What he's about to tell you happened December 19th, 1991. This aired in 1992.
And what I want to remind you all about is something I call lifetime. Because if you think about it, you might say life is short, but actually life isn't short or long. It just goes whether you're here or not. You die, life goes on.
Life isn't short. It was here before you. It's going to be here after you. We don't ponder it that way very often. And like when I hear certain philosophical points that are made, I try to step back and really absorb it.
You die tomorrow, I'm still here, I'm still alive, life goes on. Time isn't running out. It just keeps running before and after you. But your lifetime is running out every second. So I wanted to remind you of that fact and remind you of the fact that you live in a very dangerous country and you live in a very dangerous landscape. And if you're in the 213 area code, which we are presently in, which is Los Angeles, you're living in a very dangerous and violent climate. And part of the city burned for nothing. A few months ago,
and I believe this was the Rodney King stuff.
In Venice, California, my best friend was shot in the face and had his brains blown out on my front porch for nothing. You can do a lot of things for nothing, and you can waste a lot of your time and do nothing. And I figure you get born with this body, and if it functions, I figure you're really lucky, and why anyone would want to screw it up is beyond me. So with the minute and a half I have remaining, I just implore.
Yeah, that when you're on a timer, like when you're doing stand-up, I often get 4 minutes. Whew. You're watching it count down or you're watching it tick up and you're like, oh boy. 4 minutes or 3 minutes in his case. It seems like a lot. It seems like nowhere near long enough. It's both things simultaneously. Apparently, Henry and his best friend Joe Cole walking up the steps of Rollins' rented house on Brooks Avenue in Venice, California, when two armed men ambushed them. The robbers took $50, then forced Rollins and Cole to lie face down on the porch. Cole was shot in the head and killed instantly. Rollins escaped by sprinting into the dark. They'd been roommates and inseparable friends for 10 years. Cole was 30. Robbers were never identified or arrested. This was 6 months later.
For you to stay away from the heroin, the dope, why any of you would like to take those beautiful lungs you have and put cigarette smoke in it is totally beyond me. I mean, what's the matter with you? You guys were raised by wild dogs or something? But anyway, you are...
Yeah, because we all know wild dogs smoke cigarettes.
What it's all about. If anyone tells you you're lame or something, no one has anything that you don't have. You're what it's all about. You're it. And you're doing something really great, which is breathing in and out, which is a lot more than my dead friend is doing. And so you have to hold on to that. And it's all about lifetime. And I just wanted to remind you of it because I don't know any of you, but I like you. And I want to make sure you stay around, live long and strong, because I think that's much better than ending up in a plastic box in Burbank, California. Thanks. My name's Henry.
Yeah, the concept that life's, time has always been there before you, time is always there after you. And if Ortho were here, Ortho would type his famous comment into the chat. You know what it is. Somebody can type it on behalf of Ortho. Yeah, dig into Henry Rollins. He's a very interesting dude. Marion, I thought the dogs playing poker poster was cigars, not cigarettes. Wild dogs.
My name's Henry Rollins.
Anyway, Venezuela is really bad. This looks staged, but who the heck knows? 4-year-old boy rescued 26 hours after being trapped by earthquakes in Venezuela. CBS put this out. I mean, could you imagine being in there? And being in there trying to help? Anything you move could cause a further collapse. What do you do? What do you not do? Any vibration could cause a collapse. If you're trying to bang and whether using a jackhammer or a chisel to get brick and concrete and stone out of the way. I got my club so I can leave my cave. Thanks for the tip, Ortho. That's the one. Great speech from Henry Rollins. Trash Panda. Never toss your eggs over the chickens? I don't know that one, but I don't have chickens. His videos. Crews worked through the night to push through heavy cement and get the survivors out. Death toll risen to 1,430. Another 32, 38 are injured, and many missing. Every chisel could lead to another cave-in. Ugh.
Empuja. Okay.
¡Luciano! Aquí está tu abuelo, Luciano. Mira, hay una cuerda. ¿Te sientes bien? Pero te sientes bien, seguro.
Kid's moving around pretty okay.
Vente conmigo, vamos a esperar que venga. Ahora viene mamá y papá.
Okay, well, that's good to see. A lot of other tough stories out there. So Citizen Vigilante hit #1 on Amazon in the United States. It's a film that the establishment doesn't want people to see. Elon said this is what people want to see. Uwe Boll, the 60-year-old German film director, will be the first to admit he's more of a controversy magnet than a critical darling. Even so, his latest work, Citizen Vigilante, might be the most controversial film yet of his. Banned in Germany for extreme violence and supposedly anti-migrant message, starring the once canceled actor Armie Hammer, released in the U.S. 11 days ago. And Elon streamed it in full on X, but I went yesterday and it was done streaming for free. I think I missed it by a day. I think you can stream it for $6. I did not watch it yet. I intend to. Question of the day: did you watch this movie, and do you have any thoughts on it? Be curious to see. Curious to hear your thoughts. No Chance put this out. Garbaggio Conspiracy did. Women are being AR'd so often in Glasgow, the Rape Crisis Center had to close its waiting list. This doesn't require more funding or better street lighting. It requires mass deportations. 3 S attacks in one weekend. Victims include a 16 and 17-year-old, say the Glasgow Times. Police probe S attacks in Springburn and Coatbridge and City Center. It's almost like there's invading army mixed amongst you. Wolves attacking the sheep. That doesn't seem good for anybody, except maybe the invading army that's trying to subjugate you, convert you, change you, dominate you, destroy you, steal from you. But what do I know? Watch this. Daily Hourly put this out. Chilling new video. What's this account? Terrifying video shows Venezuela's earthquakes toppling buildings in seconds as the death toll surges past 1,400. A 7.2 foreshock and then a 7.5 main shock. Venezuela's strongest in over a century. The intense horizontal shaking triggered widespread pancake collapses, where floors stacked on top of each other, particularly in the hard-hit coastal state of La Guaira and parts of Caracas. They're saying tens of thousands still missing. Watch this. You're looking back here, this white building. Down it goes. Look at how fast that happened. The whole building. How many units was that building? And then the whole building falls on top of you. Hot. Oh, every one of those units could have a family in it. Oh, continued prayers for Venezuela. Yikes. Man, that shook the ground. Those cars are moving. People are damn near being lifted off their feet. Building collapsed. Back to Sophie Cunningham, of course. Here's what happens when you see someone in the 15 items or less checkout lane with way more than 15 items. You. This is me when someone goes back for seconds at a buffet while we're all still working on our first plate. When your sibling sees you getting away with something that they got caught for, you did it, she did it, he did it. Every 4-way stop ever. That might be my favorite. But this is a very good one. When you realize that CNN has stopped posting their gas price tracker. That's pretty funny. All right. Elizabeth Barkahana says, I was in Chicago last week. Gas was half the price per gallon as it is in Los Angeles, even though they're both blue cities and both a country at war. This is a you problem, responding to the California Democrat Party saying gas prices have risen over 30% since Trump started his war of choice in Iran. Screw you, California Democrat Party. Even as working families do everything right, Republicans are making things too expensive. Your gas tax is double the price of your gas. It's insane. Stop what you're doing. The other states aren't doing to you what California is doing to you. And by California, we mean Democrats, which means California Democrats, which means the people posting that meme. So thank you, Elizabeth Barkohana, saying this is a you problem, California. JD Vance chiming in about AI data centers and AI surveillance. It's an important topic.
The thing I really worry about with AI is surveillance. AI is, a friend of mine once said that AI is fundamentally a communist technology in that it allows governments and corporations to surveil people in very profound and different ways. And that scares me a lot. Like, I don't want a social credit system that's powered by AI. I don't want you to not be able to buy a beer because some tech CEO has given you a score based on an artificial intelligence algorithm that nobody actually understands. That scares me too. But I don't think we're going to have mass unemployment. We might have mass inequality. That's its own problem. It's a different problem though. The thing I really worry about with AI is surveillance.
Got to talk about AI. Keep it going. JD might be taking the torch from
The
President.
thing I really worry about with AI.
Look, a city.
Bridget Gabriel shared this terrifying footage. Take a listen. Good grief. This was from May of 2020. Still relevant, and still stay alert when you're out and about. Just here's a reminder.
City Hall camera positioned outside captures the moment Hiba al-Azhari lunges at an officer armed with a butcher knife. He swerves out of the way. The confrontation continues off camera.
I mean, if a picture is worth 1,000 words, this video is worth 10,000.
Police Chief Kenneth Albano says this video is critical, proving why that officer felt threatened.
I hope everybody will watch this video and see that a knife this big being swung at you thusly, and the officer repeatedly saying, drop the knife, and retreat.
Look, a City Hall camera positioned outside captures.
Lured a police officer outside City Hall, then attacked him with a knife. Muslim woman in a hijab in Terrence, Florida.
Look,
just a reminder to stay careful. Stay alert. Another video from Daily Hourly. Here's a dog trapped. I'm sure they're using their hands every chance they get. Instead of, percussive means. Looks like they got the dog out. June 24th. What is this? Okay. Well, thanks for all the efforts that you're doing. They got the dog out. Let's see about surgery now. Ooh. Thanks for helping the dog out. This is America's time, people.
It is just so much sweeter beating America. Yeah.
This lady's talking. It's so much sweeter beating America. This is Michael Phelps. I can't play you Thunderstruck, but it makes it better. This lady says, particularly the first night of competition, where we did not have to hear the Star-Spangled Banner. They ring out. USA, USA, and I've never wanted to punch someone more. USA, USA. Michael Phelps, if somebody said that to me, I would lose it. I would literally make them eat every word they just said about me. So for the Americans, if you see what I just saw, that was the first time I saw it. I would watch that thing every single day to give me that little extra bit of oomph. Just a little bit extra. It's better with Thunderstruck. Start your engines. And then Team USA won gold. Proud to be an American. So, hey, maybe World Cup can bring home the World Cup. Wouldn't that be great? Let's give it a shot at least. Bravo. Tom Emmer? Is he going to trick me into following him? All right, I'll follow him. It's better with music. Representative Congressman Brandon Gill says the number one item bought with food stamps is soda. Could that possibly be true? Do Americans need taxpayer-funded soda to survive? No. There is no universe where that should be happening. No universe. You want some assistance? I think there should probably be pre-made meals, healthy food. You know, here's rotisserie chicken, here's chicken and potatoes and broccoli, and it's not seed oils, and it's just, here's a meal. You know, participate in grocery stores, whether it's a Meijer or a Kroger or a, I don't know, a Vons or Target. You shouldn't be able to buy junk food. It's not necessary. Is my feed frozen? So my feed is freezing again? We're back to this? Or Target. My feed. I appear to be frozen. Not necessary. Background. Hello, background. Are we streaming? What's going on? Background. All right, are we back? Well, that's not good. Let's hit refresh one more time. Are we back yet? Well, we appear to be back. Let's keep it going. What's up, Dino and Ortho and Kenneth? By the way, let's take a look at this. Is everybody represented on the team? Wait, where's Ortho? Where's number 2? We got to get Ortho number 2 on there. He was on the last one. Maybe, did you get sent to the minors? No Epstein jokes. Ortho, Dino, where's Kenneth? Okay, he's right there, 67. 67. Yeah, the TNAM Trash Pandas. That's the new one. But it's not the done one. We got more to do because we got to add ortho back to the squad. Maybe we went on the disabled list. What do they call it now? The injured list? We'll get you back. We'll get you back. But anyway, no, Americans don't need taxpayer-funded soda ever for anything. You want to do whatever you want? Do whatever you... Okay, so now Instagram's not going to let me pause. Man, I'm getting the weirdest glitches today.
Shots fired, shots fired.
Phoenix PD taking out a pedo with a 12 gauge.
Shots fired.
We played that for you before. This one's blurred out a little differently, I think.
So,
all right, Supreme Court, we're caught up.
So a little while ago, I made a statement that America should become isolationist for a while, and I got so much negative feedback on it. But here's why. You see it for yourself. SCOTUS is compromised. They just ruled that the 14th Amendment guarantees birthright citizenship to children born inside of the United States, including parents that are in this country on temporary status or unlawful. So, again, we need to become more isolationist. We need to have a moratorium on all immigration. If you're a woman that is traveling inside the United States, you cannot be here. If H-1B visa holders, they all need to go. All illegals need to go. I'm sorry. Grab our military from these other countries that we don't even really need to be there for the most part. But you understand what I'm getting at. We do need some around the planet, but grab most of them back and have them assist with kicking all these illegals out, securing our borders, making sure we have the right people here in this country. Because if we don't have secure borders and a secure immigration process or a proper way for people to come in this country, our country is toast, y'all. So a little while.
That's where we're at.
So
every birthing age person needs to go. Okay, let me clarify something. Here's the new roster. TNAM Trash Pandas. It's photo day. Here, how do I full screen this? Can I full screen it? I don't think I can. Wait, he's not on this one either. Oh no, he's in the top left. There we go. He's hiding. There's Ortho. Wait, get them all out? All right, we got to take Ortho out. No, I'm just kidding. You're talking about the illegal alien birthing age people. Yeah, no more birthing age people allowed in the U.S. Who's Belfast Bob? Yep, there's Ortho on the top left. There we go. And of course, we got Nimbus and Ben hanging out there. Okay, thank you. I pulled up the wrong one. Apologies, John. Thank you for that. Everybody follow John on X, Patriot Warrior Texas. All right. Let's get back to this. Matt Van Swole sums it up. Wait. So the Supreme Court basically ruled that anyone from anywhere who came to the country by any means can have a baby in the United States, and that baby is automatically an American citizen? What are we even doing here? This is obviously insane. Oh, wait, it took Mark off. Oy vey. We the two others, Nick pops in every now and then. We could give Nick, put Nick on there. And Super Bear. Can we make Super Bear a bear? Yeah, Super Bear. He's like our 17-year-old viewer from Maine. I cannot remember which state he's at. I think he's Maine. I think I said Vermont last time, or I said Maine and it is Vermont. Or Connecticut. I just something right up the, I think it's Maine. And I could be. Oh, wait, Nick is Cletus. Now, how would Nick know that he's Cletus? Oh, wait, did I? Oh, yes. Oh, shit. See, you're on top of inside jokes that I forgot about. Because he's coleus, miraculous collateral or something. Miracolius, and I called him Cletus. That's right. You're on top of in some cases more inside jokes than I am. Vermont? We think it's Vermont? I know, I'm the one that named Nick, and I forgot that I named him. Well, then you know it's a good nickname if it sticks. If it sticks with Nicks, it's worth the risk. Anyway, yeah, Matt Van Swell just can't understand what's going on in our system, of course. Neither can I. All right, everybody, jump over and follow us on X at American_media_, please. Final day of June. One last call to ask y'all to become a monthly sponsor on Patreon, Rumble, and YouTube. The New American Media. You can drop Rumble rant tip or super chat tip. Help round out the month as strong as possible. Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal. Those are all scrolling at the bottom of the screen if you would like to make a donation to help keep the lights on at this fine establishment. All right. Our Patreon link is pinned right here at the top of our X feed as well, making it super easy. Click it and sign up for like $5 a month, $60 a year. It just really helps provide the building blocks that we need to. I have 2 business accounts here for business spending. These are getting paid today. It keeps the lights on. Your support keeps the lights on. Mushrooms are good for the memory. What kind of mushrooms are good for the memory? Oh. You know, I also have a lot of stuff bouncing around inside of this skull. There's a lot to reference. There's a lot of index cards. I used to be able to kind of rifle through them like playing a game of Guess Who. Flip this card, flip that card. Aha. Flip this card, flip that card. Aha. Now it's like I got this Rolodex and I go, and it's like the Price is Right wheel spinning. Boop, 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 boop. Oh my gosh, there he is. Cletus is here. Hold on. Cletus, you're just lurking. You're just lurking, not typing. We need you typing. Okay, let's pull. Nick, you made the softball team. Congratulations. Let's pull you up. There you are. Front row, second from the left. Number 26, Cletus. Cletus live. Cletus. Cletus. Yes, you are Cletus. Do we want double E's on the Cletus? I think the point comes across either way. John, if you want to give him 3 or 4 E's, he could have 3 or 4 E's on Cletus. You were just lurking, waiting for someone to start talking about you. But hey, if you noticed, I said, where's Nick? Where is he at? Where's Cletus? God, that's funny. I totally forgot I gave you that nickname during whatever show that was. Cletus in the hizzy. All right. Pierre Poliver, maybe the last hope for Canada, says, put up statues, raise our flag, tell our stories, and sing our songs. United as Canadians under one proud flag. Okay. Well, all right. Hey, here's a story about a American founding father that many of you don't know. Caesar Rodney? Caesar Rodney?
One man battling cancer traveled 80 miles on horseback overnight, braving a violent thunderstorm to cast the vote that helped secure American independence.
We sort of needed that vote. You can be a hero by voting the right way.
Caesar Rodney was born in Delaware in 1728 into a prominent family known for their plantation Byfield. From an early age, he dedicated himself to public service.
I don't know how much of this I can play with all the music. And I don't know who put this out. The Federalist Society? Well, I'll tell you the story. One vote stood between America and independence. The man who had cast it was 80 miles away, battling cancer as a violent thunderstorm raged. His name was Caesar Rodney. A lesser-known founder of the American Revolution, Rodney rode overnight on horseback from Delaware to Philadelphia, arriving just in time to cast the deciding vote for independence and sign the Declaration of Independence. The deciding vote. Thank you, Caesar Rodney. Federalist Society put that out. I don't really know that name. So tell me what you think here. Major League Baseball's attempt to trademark play ball has struck out. The United States Patent and Trademark Office denied MLB's application to trademark play ball for clothing. The USPTO wrote in final action filing on Friday. In this case, the applied for mark is a commonplace term, message, or expression widely used by a variety of sources that merely conveys an ordinary, familiar, well-recognized concept or sentiment. The USPTO wrote in its denial. USPTO also wrote phrases that merely convey an informational message are not registerable. Messages left with the USPTO examining attorney, Major League Baseball and trademark attorneys not immediately returned. MLB initially applied for the trademark in 22, and they have 3 months to ask for a reconsideration. USPTO cited as an example, drive safely not being able to be registered by car and car park companies because of its everyday usage about driving. No, that's stupid. Major League Baseball is the organization that runs baseball that coined the term play ball. You don't say play ball in football. You don't say play ball in basketball. Basketball's like, let's go hoop. Let's go shoot hoops. Let's go play basketball. You never say, let's go play ball. Play ball. That's what they like. That's how you start a baseball game. I think the patent office totally got this one wrong here. I think they totally got this one wrong. This should belong to baseball. Who else is? It's not commonplace. There's one game of baseball. Play ball. Drive safely. Oh, absolutely appeal that. That's ridiculous. It's commonly used to refer to corporate or to start something. Often used as an everyday slogan. Multiple pages of dictionary definitions of play ball and tens of pages, various clothing companies using the phrase on t-shirts and other goods. Yeah, I don't know. So question of the day, do you agree or disagree with the patent office turning them down? Kenneth does not agree. Was that the question I asked the first time? I hope I didn't reframe it and have your question go backwards. But that should belong to baseball. That's a baseball phrase. Let them have it. And if corporations will say, hey, play ball. Who says that? People don't say that in common parlance. Appeal that. You got every chance to win that one. Nobody else says play ball. NASCAR, they say, gentlemen, start your engines. And horse racing, they say, gentlemen, start your horses. They don't, but they should. That'd be funny. Anyway. Now, what is this? 30 minutes before Sotheby's NBA Finals auction was to begin, the ball was pulled, and it's going to go to the New York Knicks now? Game ball from Game 4 holds significant importance to the Knicks, and it won't be included in Sotheby's auction. So did they buy it? I don't know. Belongs in the Hall of Fame? I mean, I don't know. It's a ball. How many balls were used? Okay. Anyway, I'm curious about this sports story too. Not sure what it means. Mike Lee says neither the founding fathers nor the authors of the 14th Amendment nor the millions of Americans who fought and died for this country through the ages intended to establish a nation whose citizenship could be so easily purchased, whether through birth tourism of China's Communist Party members or a vast border invasion enabled by faithless presidents. This is the cheap and cheated citizenship the Supreme Court upholds today. The long fight for a constitutional amendment begins now. We must explicitly exclude foreign nationals who break our laws, violate our border, or exploit loopholes to make their families American citizens. Amen. You want to be here, come here, assimilate here, become a resident, become a citizen. So also, NPR published a story claiming to report that Justice Samuel Alito was retiring. And I mean, I don't know how you would feel about that. It's like, on one hand, you're like, well, you'd rather retire than go out through old age and, be replaced by somebody from the other side. Heaven forbid anybody on the Democrats should ever get elected again, and hopefully they never do. But you also say, well, I mean, you replace them with somebody much younger, and then they can last for several generations. It's like you get a Supreme Court pick. And so there's an appeal there, but Alito's one of the good ones. You would want to hear Amy Coney Barrett. Please, Amy Coney Barrett and John Roberts, retire. Retire and give President Trump the chance to do better than Amy Coney Barrett. What a disgrace. What an embarrassment. Every woman on the Supreme Court lacks rationalization skills. That's not to say every woman on earth does, but why are we 0 for 4 on Supreme Court lady justices? But we'll see. People are slamming NPR for putting this story out. They retracted it 10 minutes later, but it doesn't mean where there's smoke, there isn't fire. Maybe those talks are happening. Tom Hanks has been looking for Wilson. Yeah, put him in the display case. Ooh, I was on Marketplace and I found like this. It was a sale of display cases. I was very tempted to go, ooh, maybe should I get all these display cases? I don't think I'm not going to. There we go. Here's the updated roster for the TNAM Trash Pandas, as we talked about. Okay, so these people are put up here for when we add new people. New guy, new gal, old gal. Okay. And of course, we got Palm Beach Pete and Miami Bob. Miami Bob. I think it's Miami Bob that started this whole damn thing. Anyway. Sir Wayne Allen Root says someone dirty and evil owns Justice John Roberts and Amy Coney Barrett. They're blackmailed or owned lock, stock, and barrel by enemies of the USA, CCP, or deep state. I'd bet my life. Something is very wrong. Smells rotten. I've called it about Roberts since Obamacare. Yep. Same here. Go back. Take a listen to my shows 15 and a half years ago. Or whenever that was. Peyton McNabb was injured by a dude playing lady sports. She's pretty happy about the Supreme Court ruling on this.
I'm just feeling so blessed. Of course, this is something that means a lot to me. It affected me personally. And, there's a lot of eyes on this across the country. There's families, there's parents, and there's coaches and daughters who are watching this decision being made. And I'm just so thankful that they get to.
Okay. Supreme Court allows states to block men from girls' sports teams. They didn't prohibit the action, so it's going to continue in the backward states. Taller, stronger, faster men are still going to be allowed to do this in the backward states. They didn't have to write it that way. So no, Supreme Court, you don't even get your kudos on this one fully. It's a partial victory.
to understand that they are protected and it's okay for their state to protect them, because I mean that's all it was, all that they were having to determine.
But why is it okay for other states to endanger women? That shouldn't be allowed.
As if it was okay if states could protect their girls, or if it was allowed. So I'm thankful that states are able to protect their girls.
Okay. Injured by a man playing girls' sports. North Carolina high school athlete. This might have been the one that got concussed on a volleyball spike. Frank Luntz put this out, a breakdown of what happened today. SCOTUS ruled against Trump's order limiting birthright citizenship. SCOTUS sides with Republican-led challenge to federal limits on spending by political parties in coordination with candidates. So now, because of SCOTUS, there will not be federal limits on spending by political parties in coordination with candidates? And SCOTUS ruled in favor of Idaho, West Virginia laws banning men from participating on female sports teams. They keep calling them transgender. Just call them men. We're losing the language of clarification here. Keeping men out of women's sports. That's what's happening. Dina asks if Roberts and Amy have both been to Haiti. Now, don't they have adopted kids? All of them? Or is it just Amy? Does she have 2 adopted kids? Are they Haitian? I did read something like that, and I don't recall what her... Maybe Jamie could check on that one. Tim Pool says, breaking news, Trump loses. SCOTUS holds children born to non-citizens and illegal aliens are citizens. So a Chinese... Here we go. This is what I referenced earlier. So a Chinese national can give birth to a child in Guam, and that child raised in China is eligible to be president of the United States. Cool. Cool, huh? All right. It says there's a comment, but I can't see it. Make sure you're following us on Instagram. This is the post we made. Can we officially retire the false phrase, Trump's conservative Supreme Court? Roberts and Barrett are clearly deep state operatives. Sad day for America. Birthright citizenship. Drop in on Instagram. Drop some comments. Drop some likes. We're trying to grow this over there. Breitbart says Kavanaugh sides with the majority in Trump v. Barbara, but only on the Trump EO statutory validity. On 14th Amendment question, he says there is room for additional exceptions to birthright citizenship not found in U.S. versus Wong Kim Ark, circa 1898. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we're sort of in the weeds on all this, on the legalisms, and there's a lot of, there can be nuance in some of these things. Such as the nuance I haven't seen anybody pointing out yet. Not that they won't, but they haven't yet. About the fact that all they did with men and ladies sports is said that states can opt out. Why isn't it banned completely? The entire purpose of men and women being split in sports is because they are not equal. With bone density, with strength, with height, with weight, with speed, with power. Just because you're a weaker man doesn't mean you get to beat up on stronger women. And if a woman wants to jump up and play at the big leagues, you know, it's the same thing I say to somebody who feels they're trans or they were born in the wrong body. I urge them to reconsider. Please don't pump yourself full of hormones that are not meant for the body that you're the vehicle that you drive. Don't put diesel engine into your vehicle. You're not built for that. You're going to wreck the engine. Please, I encourage you not to. You're loved. You can love who you want. Like, just don't buy into any of that bullshit. Just don't go chopping things up. But if you want to do that at 18, so be it. If you want to do it and you want to pay for it and you want it, knowing that you can't become something you're not, if you decide you want that, then I don't know that we should stand in the way of that. If you do that for you. I don't know. I don't get why we would allow. But yeah, so if a woman wants to play in men's sports, I wouldn't advise it. It's probably a really bad idea. You're good as you are. Maybe just stay in the lane that you're at. But I think Sophie Cunningham was the school kicker for her football team, by the way. I didn't know anything about her. Now I'm starting to learn about her. I'm like, I like this broad. She's cool. She's twerking in some videos. She's pointing in some other videos. She's kicking field goals in other videos. I don't know. Didn't know anything about Sophie Cunningham. Now I'm learning because the WNBA seems to really dislike Caitlin Clark. And for some reason, it's really weird. Really weird. Roberts had controversy with his adoption. Did both of them have adoptions? Hang on. I'm gonna look this up real quick. Here, let's Comey Barrett and John Roberts. Do they have adopted kids? Barrett has 2. They both do. 7 children total. Amy Coney. It's Coney Barrett. I'm calling her Comey. Coney? Coney. It's not a. Maybe it's just the James Comey. Coney, like Coney Island. Maybe my brain is just so stuck on James Comey. Coney Barrett, yeah. Amy adopted 2 kids from Haiti. 2005 and 2010. Other 5 biological, youngest with Downs. John Roberts also has 2 adopted kids. They adopted after struggling to have children biologically. Interesting. Dina says the men and women's sports, it's a vague ruling, straddling the fence, chickens. Daniel Horowitz says this is the play. Chip Roy says breaking. Supreme Court, led by Roberts, failed the American people, the Constitution, and the rule of law today, not to mention endangering the national security of the United States. The 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution in no way stands for the proposition that we must permit a dangerous cottage industry of traveling to our soil to manufacture United States citizenship. That's insane. The court today should have said so explicitly and ended this damaging exploitation of our laws. Congress must now immediately do at least 2 things it should have done long ago. First, define the phrase subject to the jurisdiction thereof. Very specifically to make clear that citizenship is tied to the citizenship of the parent, not the soil. Second, completely restrict funding from Department of Homeland Security or any other agency or state that provides documentation and status to anyone not subject to the jurisdiction thereof. In other words, Congress must act immediately and must not hide behind the fiction that it must amend the Constitution to fix this abuse of our laws. To do otherwise would be an abject failure of the United States Congress. Well, you got marching orders now.
And it's a big one. It has to do with birthright citizenship. It was an executive order that President Trump, on day one of his second term in January 2025, signed the executive order. It was immediately challenged, and now we can tell you that the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled against President Trump's order to limit birthright citizenship.
Supreme Court, more like extreme court.
We have talked for some time about the president feeling that he would not win on this one. The question is, why not?
Okay. Right off the bat, it says children born in the United States to parents unlawfully or temporarily present are, quote, subject to the jurisdiction of the United States and are citizens at birth under the 14th Amendment's Citizenship Clause. Look how this broke down. As we expected, the Chief Justice wrote this opinion. Justices Sotomayor, Kagan, Barrett, and Jackson joined. Jackson has a concurring opinion in which Sotomayor joins. Justice Kavanaugh files an opinion concurring in the judgment and dissenting in part. The dissent comes from Justice Thomas. He is joined by Gorsuch, Alito, and then Justice Gorsuch apparently has his own dissenting opinion. So it is what we expected after the arguments here, and it looks like a bit of a split, but enough of a plurality coming together to say that the executive order that the president issued very quickly upon taking office is no good, and that if people are here, subject to the jurisdiction thereof includes people who are here illegally. Writing for the majority, Chief Justice Roberts says this: citizenship then and now was the right to have rights to freely participate in our political community. Talking about the 14th Amendment, the framers of the 14th Amendment extended that promise to every freeborn person in this land. That's a quote, and it looks like it's a quote back to some of the legislative debate about this in Congress. He says we keep that promise today. So
Gorsuch, Alito, and Thomas. Clarence Thomas slams the decision. He writes, the 14th was enacted in the wake of the Civil War with the one pervading purpose of securing equal citizenship for the freed slaves. He goes on to say that the court, meaning the majority now, has repurposed the 14th to protect its own set of preferred rights that the Reconstruction Congress never contemplated. And that cannot find support in the text today. Daniel Horowitz says, if the 14th Amendment required these results, the country would have to live with them or amend the Constitution. But the 14th Amendment does not include the rule the court now imposes on the country, which is why Congress must now act, and this needs to supplant the SAVE Act as the most important action. Okay. Well, I guess that's the first thing you need to do. Can you do that with 51 votes? What are we talking about? What does it need? If people aren't allowed to cheat, could we get the red waves that we pretty much should have had all this time ago? And we keep getting cheated out of it. Oh, look, 5 days later, we're finding just enough votes to win, barely, every time. I don't know. I don't know what kind of hope we have. Justice Alito says, in my judgment, the court has made a mistake that will seriously affect the country's future. Suppose that a person's only connection to this country is that he was born here to a mother who was present just long enough to give birth and then quickly returned to her native country. Suppose that country is a strategic adversary or enemy of the United States. Suppose the child never visited the United States while growing up and was inculcated with hatred of this country. According to this court now, that person is a citizen of the United States. He can enter and leave the country as he pleases. He can travel the world on a United States passport. Even if he plots to harm this country, he cannot be deprived of his status as a citizen, at least under current precedent. Justice Samuel Alito in his dissent. Please share this. You know, the legacy restrictions on our account are beyond frustrating. We post things and nobody sees them. Thousands and thousands and thousands of subscribers, followers. Nobody sees the stuff we post. It's like I'm living inside of a cuckoo clock. The stuff we post is just as good as the stuff other people post. Almost nobody ever sees any of it, which either makes me crazy for continuing this endeavor to try to grow when we're not seeing the growth numbers that we feel we deserve, or we're just not that good, or we need to break through the algorithm. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Yeah, exactly. Marion says, Dina, Ketanji Brown Jackson didn't even know what a female is, so how could she be against men and lady sports? Or I'm sorry, be in favor of. She doesn't even know how to define a lady. But go on X and retweet this, and then do a quote tweet. Hit that little square with the 2 arrows. You quote tweet it, shoot it out, and add your original comment to it. Trying to get some action on X. You know, and some people have said that it's not going to work, that the legacy restrictions from Twitter when they decided they hated the new American media, it's still baked into the cake at X. Elon the other day said we need a complete algorithm makeover. Yeah, start from scratch. Just port all of the accounts over and do it that way. Please. Because our tweets would like to be seen. Please. Hey, by the way, special thanks. Trash Panda, Texas, dropped a $25 Rumble rant. He says, now I got to add ease. Hell no. Thank you so much for the generous donation, Trash Panda, helping us close out June strongly on our last day of the month. Final call to tip your bartender. But yeah, please go over here on X and share this one. Can we officially retire the false phrase, Trump's conservative Supreme Court? Roberts and Barrett are clearly deep state operatives. Sad day for America. Birthright citizenship. Hit the heart button and then quote tweet that. Oh, look at that. It went from 0 views to 28 when I hovered over it. Guys, I don't trust any of our algorithms. I don't trust any of these social media companies. At all. Anyway, keep it going. Even parents in the country unlawfully or only temporarily, their kids are now rewarded with citizenship. Unbelievable. I don't know what else to say. Okay, so let's dig into this one about the challenge to restrict campaign spending. Queuing APAC comments in the chat in 3, 2. As if APAC's the only one that spends money, but go ahead. So I guess what? This lifts a restriction on corporate spending? So now what? Now we're going to get more advertisements? Here, let's unpack this. The details and the nuance will make the decision understandable and useful. Whether it's good or bad, we can at least understand it, and it'll be useful as a definition, even if we disagree on it. So let's listen on the campaign finance fight.
Yes.
This is Fox News. Here we go.
And so this decision written by Justice Kavanaugh is a traditional 6-3, some of the ideological splits you would expect to see here. And he says those limits amount to essentially limiting speech, and it's unconstitutional so that the parties can freely spend with candidates. They say this, it allows all political parties, including the DNC and RC, this is not benefiting a particular party, and the respected Senate and House campaign committees, as well as other parties and party committees, to participate more freely and compete more fully in the political process and to coordinate more closely with their candidates. So allowing the parties to spend money in connection with their candidates, says whether the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, or other parties, all political parties and candidates going forward can compete equally under the same rules regarding coordinated expenditures and can structure their fundraising, spending, and political speech on a level playing field as they see fit within the law. So essentially saying there can be no wall now between those, and that trying to limit the parties from their speech and essentially spending money with their coordinated candidates violates the Constitution. And again, they say doesn't benefit this White House or a different White House. Democrats, Republicans alike are able to take advantage, essentially, of this decision today. Justice Kagan leads the dissenters, so I will read hers and get back to you when we know what she's got to
Shannon,
say.
do you see this as a question of the First Amendment, as it is written by the majority here? It would be a violation of the First Amendment if they did not rule this way.
All righty then. A decision of less importance. I mean, it's going to be significant. Who is this? This is Mike Davis. Let's listen to his take on the campaign finance ruling on Bannon's show.
Well, first, I think we have some breaking news. There's a 6-3 decision out of the Supreme Court. Justice Kavanaugh wrote the opinion again where they struck down these campaign finance limits. So that is just breaking. I have not seen the opinion yet, but that's coming out. Now, as for...
Yeah, but I want to get your opinion on that. Anyway, we'll get some more opinions for tomorrow as people, because it takes a minute. I know you understand, but I had to change the topic of today's show right before today's show. There's only so much time to go through each topic point by point, line by line. It's a busy day. Does this conclude? Are there any outstanding? Actually, that's a good question. Jamie, here. Coney Island. Any other SCOTUS rulings expected today or soon? Is there any big one outstanding? That birthright citizenship was huge. Yes. This is the final opinion announcement day. Birthright, transgender, campaign finance. These are the last four. And those are three. Okay. Amy, comb her hair yet? No, that's with the M. Coney. Like corny. Coney. 6-3 vote. SCOTUS strikes down federal limits on how much political parties may spend in coordination with their own candidates, ruling that restrictions violate First Amendment and overruling its 0-1 decision in Colorado Republican 2. Okay. Yeah, this is, by the way, this is Sophie Cunningham getting just abused by the other teams. You got to kind of pick a side. Some of it's just physical basketball, and some of it's pretty abusive, actually. It's fine. I'll handle it myself. Anyway. I guess this is Sophie Cunningham. I saw this morning. I saw it, so you got to see it now. I know this is pretty rough. Sorry if you haven't had your morning coffee. Yeah, this is pretty brutal. But apparently that's the number 2 selling WNBA jersey, number 1 being Caitlin Clark. They are, of course, teammates. That's Sophie Cunningham right there. The one with the meme doing the pointing. You're going to see her 1,000 places. I don't know why she would release a 3-hour-long video like this. Haters will say it's only 30 seconds, but the reality is it plays on a loop for hours and hours. So it's almost like the video itself is, well, it could be as many hours long as you want it to be. But that's the one from the famous meme, allegedly. I believe that's her. You sort of don't see her face. Sorry, one last time. Just trying to see her face in the mirror to make sure that this is who we think this is. Since she's in the news, this is newsworthy. Can't have music. Don't want music. Hold on, right there. I don't know if that's her. Is that her? That might not even be her. So look, if people say that's her, you should be skeptical. In fact, I'm going to ask Grok about this. I don't think it's her. At Grok, is this Sophie Cunningham or not? I think I'm going to have to put a community notes on this one. He'll allow it. Why was this clip 20 minutes long? It was hours long. I don't think that was her. Yeah, that's not Sophie Cunningham. That's what I'm thinking. All right. Well, did Grok answer? Here you go. I'm a disappointment to those who supported me. And a disappointment to America, freedom, liberty, common sense, etc. I'll call her Awful Amy is a traitor. If I got somebody pregnant and we went to a Cleveland Browns mini camp practice and we had labor was induced, labor happened, you broke the water and you had your baby right there on the practice field. It does not make my kid a member of the Cleveland Browns. This is insane. 2 illegal aliens that broke in. Well, they snuck in the movie theater and popped out a kid while they were watching a double feature. I guess they're co-owners of the Aramark franchise now. What? No. It makes no sense to me. SCOTUS owes us. Yes, SCOTUS owes us. Now, why is Grok not answering my question? Is that video really Sophie Cunningham twerking in the mirror? Or is this fake? I think it's fake. I don't think that's her. And I just think people should know because they're searching for a lot today. Oh, wait, it's real. Oh. Because it's a pop culture phenomenon right now. Oh, there are many mirror twerking clips circulating that are fake or mislabeled. That's what I just said. See, even Grok gives you one answer and then it's not really the answer. Oh, then they said this was correct. Grok taking a cold shower. Okay, well, so they're saying this is real? Why did it scroll all the way up there? Widely verified? All right, I'm going to stay on this one. I'll give I got to cover all the hard-hitting news. They're confirming this? I'm going to type it again. At Grok, is this Sophie Cunningham? Yeah, this is just me scrolling with you guys. Finding the hard-hitting news, of course. Aha, no, that's not Sophie Cunningham. Doesn't match her appearance. There's no connection to any actual pregame. It's a mislabeled clip. Aha. Aha. Now, I'm going to request a community note. Oh, I get to explain now. This video does not show Sophie Cunningham, so it needs this community note. That's it. All right, so if we get a fake news post on this one, it's going to be because I, your intrepid, fearless reporter, looked around and AI and some mystical entity known as AI told me that this is not a person. So therefore, put up the warning. Did Mark see the revised? Wait, Mark's on here? Okay, who's Mako 33? Is that Marco Rubio? Or who is Mako? Was that another nickname I said and I forgot about? Oh, so she does do this kind of thing on YouTube. So is this her or is this not her? I've heard both answers. Oh, she has Taekwondo and oh, yeah, she played football in school. I've known like almost nothing about her, and now I'm a fan. Not because I became I like that she's like one of the tough enforcers so the other team will stop beating up on Caitlin Clark. I love that. And when I saw that she was kicking in football, like I said, I have no problem with women competing in men's sports. I would strongly urge the most insane caution you can imagine. But no, I don't want dudes playing lady sports, playing, oh, look, I'm a girl and I'm in the locker room. Come on, let's all shower. And here, I'm so much stronger and faster and my muscles are denser. And I don't want that. You shouldn't be able to go play in the minor leagues once you're an all-star caliber player in the big leagues. You can just go dominate the minor leagues. It's like the point is to play in the majors. And I get it. There's wimpy dudes that can't compete and they still like to play. Find something co-ed. There's co-ed volleyball. There can be co-ed basketball. Do something co-ed if you want. Anyway. I don't think that's her. But if it is, I don't think it is. You're all commenting. You're giving me you're all chiming in on this one. We really need to move on. How many minutes have we spent on this? I told you it's a 3-hour video. Haters will say it's 30 seconds played on a loop, but anyway. Okay, now they say, yes, that's Sophie Cunningham. Okay, you've literally, at Grok, you literally also just told us that this wasn't her. Which one of your responses is a lie? Come on now. Well, look, I'm having an ongoing conversation with AI to get this figured out. Oh, Mako is Markab Productions. Markab? Then I think we should have a Markab. Or is it Marco B Productions? And then we should have a little Marco for little Marco Rubio, since he does everything for the administration. Of course, he'd be playing on the softball team. And of course, he'd be a utility infielder playing every position, methinks. So look at this. Yes, that's Sophie Cunningham. No, that's not Sophie Cunningham. It doesn't match her appearance. Oh, okay. Oh, wait, that's Sophie Cunningham. Okay. It doesn't really look like her face. If you look real closely, you can see her face at some point during this video. Anyway, this is the danger of AI. I linked a specific video. Look. Here's the point. It's not that ass shaking. We said, Grok, you literally also just told us this wasn't her. Which one of your responses is a lie? Come on now. Yes, that's Sophie. No, that's not Sophie. Same video. Same video. So AI is not the say-all, end-all, be-all. Let them learn. Happy Tuesday, Leanne. Hey, Leanne's on the team. Leanne, you see the new team photo? TNAM Trash Pandas? Because we rifle through the rubbish, separating fake news from fact. Leanne's number 32. Okay, it says Mako. So we need to change that to Marco. Makobson? Oh, yeah, it's Mako. So it is Mako. Maybe Mako and little Marco next to each other would be fun. Did Marco play polo? Mako painted my car. AA MCO. No, that's Mako. And then there's Amco. I'm off the rails on this show. We're talking about Mako and twerking for about an hour and 51 minutes, it seems. No, I'm just kidding, but let's keep it going. Now, when you push back on artificial intelligence, this is what they do. You're right to flag the inconsistency. Earlier replies and community notes correctly called it. That's not Sophie Cunningham. It's a mislabeled fitness mirror clip of a different blonde woman. The yes answer in this thread was wrong. Fact-checking wins. Thanks for the pushback. The original post got it twisted. Okay. Whoop. Okay, Grok. At Grok. Then link us to the X account or Instagram account of the actual person that this is. For science, of course. For science. Link. Gentlemen of culture, we meet again. It's Macobson or Marcobson? Yeah, Macobson Productions. Well, look, we're learning about how Grok can hallucinate. AI will hallucinate. Polo. All right, here's my new deal. For every Rumble rant and Super Chat that says, Marco, I'll yell Polo. Kenneth, the Super Chat coming in, $10 tip right there. Silver coin, clink, clink, clink. Cling, cling, cling went the trolley. Ring, ring, ring went the bell. Ah. Yep, there we go. So it's a super challenge for the Super Chats. How many people can drop a tip and I'll say Polo when you say Marco? Marco Polo, Marco Polo. Thank you, Kenneth. Appreciate you. We are trying to end our month of June as strong as possible. Today is our last day, so thank you all for being here. And then tomorrow will be, right, 30 days have September, April, June, and November. Yeah, so tomorrow will be July 1st. Birthday party. Doing anything for the birthday party yet? Let me know. Sloppy Joe. Let me know. All right, let's keep it rolling. Have to scroll down here a few. Oh no, we're back to this video. Why do they keep showing us this video? What is happening? Come on, guys, this is ridiculous. Jamie, can you scroll past this? Yeah, the one that's on the screen. Yeah, let's scroll past this, please. Thank you. U.S. Supreme Court upholds state laws barring biological males. I'm looking for the insight. The decision does not address whether schools may allow biological males who identify as female to participate but not compete. Oh, for fuck's sake. So you can be on the team, but you can't compete against them. Then how are you going to practice unless you're practicing against them? No, stop it. This is insanity. Oh my God, please stop. And the ruling also does not limit biological females from participating on male or co-ed teams. Okay, that's what I'm saying. That makes sense to me. All right. What even is a woman? Justice Jackson couldn't even answer that question. Gadsad reveals how insanity has infested the progressive movement. And this, I mean, he's got one of the most popular books out there, Suicidal Empathy.
Until 15 minutes ago, the 117 billion people that had lived on Earth, that's an actual real estimate. 117 billion people. Those 117 billion people seem to be able to navigate the very difficult conundrum of identifying who's male or female very easily. That's why you and I are sitting here, because our ancestors seem to be able to understand with whom they should mate without having to read it, what your pronouns are in your Twitter handle. But 15 minutes ago, when we were parasitized by a bunch of degenerate leftist ideas, we no longer were able to identify what's male or female. That's why the latest addition to the U.S. Supreme Court, the most powerful, enlightened country in the history of the world, has a person on the Supreme Court that when she was asked by a senator during her confirmation hearing, could you define what is a woman? And by the way, that wasn't just some flippant, I got you moment, because you want to know that if the justice that's going to serve on SCOTUS is going to adjudicate issues dealing with biological sex, then she should be able to identify what constitutes a woman. Well, that justice said, well, I'm sorry, but I don't have the expertise to answer that because I'm not a biologist. So to have gotten so far down the abyss of lunacy that a justice doesn't feel epistemologically confident to say, are you a moron? Of course I know what a woman is, and this is what the definition is, demonstrates how nefarious these ideas can become eventually.
Yep. That's where we are right now. No, they're trying to figure out if it's male or female, not male or email. The BS Supreme Court. Hips don't lie. Hip bones don't lie. What does one do at a strawberry moon party? Sounds like a hoot. That's Gad said. That's Gad said there. Jeffrey Tucker says, welcome to the weird, weird world of Justice Jackson. A transgender woman, this is what she wrote in the dissent. A transgender woman penalized for being perceived as aggressive has experienced discrimination on the basis of sex. Huh? Just as much as a cisgender. Why are you using fake words? Just as much as a cisgender woman has. It's a woman. Don't call it a cisgender. Don't slur us with your labels. It's a woman. No matter that the transgender woman, the men's behavior, you can't even understand what you're reading because they've tortured the language so much. No matter that the man identifying as a woman's behavior matches expectations of her sex assigned at birth. Gibberish. It's gibberish. It's gibberish. I'm trying to make sense of this. Try to, should I say parse? No, Pierre Essie. Good luck. Aggressive women are penalized. What do you... A transgender... A man is penalized for being aggressive. I can't read these. It hurts the head. Yeah, it's all over the place. Strawberry margaritas. Picture, please. Whoa, shit. Cream cheese jalapeno poppers? Yeah. Sounds good to me. Mike Lee says, if a woman gives birth at the Supreme Court, is her baby entitled to automatic status as a justice? Thank you. That's real succinct. Yeah, and just here's a whole bunch of clips of Caitlin Clark getting smashed. They're trying to permanently injure their cash cow, the most popular player in the league. Trying to ruin her career. You know, you blow out a knee, you're done. Never be the same. Yep, and she was out for the season last year. Not good for their league. They're not bright people in the WNBA. World News Tonight reports that Arizona Senator Ruben Gallego under federal investigation for suspected campaign finance violations. That's at least according to a person familiar with the matter, confirming to ABC News. Bill Maher talks about his J.D. Vance interview. I haven't seen this. Have you?
Did your view of J.D. Vance change at all after you did the interview with him?
Did what?
Your views and your opinion of J.D. Vance heading into the interview versus after?
Mine didn't, because I talked to these guys.
And by the way, that's a fair question. That's a good way to... I like that question. There's a specific open-ended answer that isn't slanted one way or another. And I also don't mind when an interviewer... And I've done this 100 times, and I'll do it again because it's part of my style, but it's not the only way to do it. But there are some times that you can put an innocuous question out there, something that can be answered in a multitude of ways, without instantly turning off Bill Maher from even comprehending and bothering to answer it. Like, if you're going to come off as like a jerk, either from the right or the left, maybe the person be less inclined to answer. So anyway, I sort of like the question. Let me just start it again. Just as a professional interviewer, yes, by the way, what do you think about my new, I didn't upload this. Let me show you. I guess I could take this one down. Let me see if I can... what did you think of the new image today? For the TNAM Daily Show. We'd been going with this one. This was the TNAM Daily Show image. We went with this one today. I think it's okay. What do y'all think? Okay, back to, man, I had to take everything off the screen so we could see that. Put everything back here. Almost everything, anyway. Is it this one? We'll go with that one. Why not? Okay, back to Bill Maher. Yeah, I just like, as a professional interviewer, I found this question interesting. And this lady's holding a fake microphone. You see on her hand here? That's very funny.
All the time, and when I say these guys, I mean politicians and Republicans.
Oh, hold on. I hit rewind. Try it again.
Did your view of J.D. Vance change at all after you did the interview with him?
Did what?
Your views and your opinion of J.D. Vance heading into the interview versus after?
Mine didn't, because I talk to these guys all the time. And when I say these guys, I mean politicians and Republicans. So I know they're always going to be like that. They're never like this, everyone says after the show, Marjorie Taylor Greene, I kind of liked her. You know, it's like, Yeah, everybody's a monster till you talk to them. And, you know, are there things we're never going to agree on? Yeah. But, you know, a guy like that, I knew it. I knew that kind of guy. They're happy warriors. You hit them with, you know, 3 really, really hard-hitting things that say you can't keep doing that. And they answer it, they evade it, but they don't hold it against you. It doesn't turn hateful. That's who it is. Some people don't want that. They want, you know, they would never be happy unless J.D. Vance walked out and I punched him in the nose. That's the only thing that would satisfy certain people. I don't play that game. I like to actually talk to people.
Yep. I like that Bill Maher does it that way. Marion says that logo looks pretty much like the TNAM PM show. You're correct. Ortho says both look good. Cool. Marion likes it. It's a good picture. Yeah, that was at some Conscious Life Expo, I recall. Photographed by Ted Distel. Distel Design. Go check him out. David just talking about the whole system. Everything's so corrupted. I don't see any way out of this other than that happening. I mean, look, maybe Mark keeps hearing any second big news. Yeah, it's free crab tomorrow. It's free crab tomorrow. That's what it is. On the side of Joe's Crab Shack, free crab tomorrow. And then you come back tomorrow and you're like, all right, I'm ready for my crab. It goes free crab tomorrow because it doesn't change. There's never a today. Trust the plan. Trust the plan. Bro, we're on 9.5 years of Trump influence. So what question do we have about why it's taking 9.5 years? Well, maybe because the Supreme Court's blocking him. Maybe because the leader, John Thune, is blocking him in the Senate. Maybe because there's 4 holdout Republicans, Murkowski and McConnell and Collins, and who's the 4th? So it's hard to do the thing you're trying to do when you're getting blocked at every step of the way. Plus, you're battling how many other nations for favorable trade deals, for energy supply, to take out the biggest threats so that they're not going to threaten the entire region with nuclear capabilities. There's a lot on the plate. Narco-terrorism from Venezuela, border insecurity. There's a lot going on. But yeah, it's my cause. You know what I mean. It's coming up in chat, and I think I need to play this. I might have played this for you before. This is so. I couldn't continue reading Ketanji Brown Jackson because the language was so absolutely tortured. We got to use terms that make sense. And no, you don't get to invent something called cis and try to slur. Well, just let's let Norm Macdonald explain this in the way that only he can. Dina says if someone says they are cis, it means the sex that they were born with. To put it another way, here's Norm Macdonald explaining it.
You know that you are a cis male? Have you ever heard of that term?
A cis male?
Cis male. C-Y-S-M-A-L-E. So what it means is that you are a man. You're born a man.
Well, as far as you know.
As far as I know. And you identify yourself as a man.
Yes.
That's a cis male.
Now, I don't understand. Where does that... Is this a new phrase?
Yes, it's a way of marginalizing a normal person.
Check this out.
You know that
it's a way of just one more time.
That's a cis male.
Now, I don't understand. Where does that... Is this a new phrase?
Yes, it's a way of marginalizing a normal person.
That's why I don't use that term. Like, I'm good. Okay.
Check this out. I'm going to show you how I afforded this car.
Hold on. Gotta stop this.
Okay, you ready?
Switch back to this. Jamie, come on. Pull up the right tab this time. All right. All this is overshadowing that we need the Save America Act, of course. Kylie Jane Kremer says, regardless of the SCOTUS ruling, Senate needs to pass Save America Act. It's a no-brainer. We need Anna Paulina Luna, based Mike Lee, and others to make it work. President Trump has thoughts on the Save America Act.
The Save America Act. Everybody wants it. Everybody is it, including Democrats. 87% of Democrats want it. Not the leaders, because they want to cheat. Their policy is so bad, they're unelectable.
The Save America Act. Let's see. Hey, John. Oh, no, we got him. Look at that. Rob shows up. Rob, just to let you know, you're number 15. Oh, it looks like you're playing catcher. Look at that. I guess you're the catcher. Rob is number 15. You're on the TNAM Trash Panda softball team. Look at that. Most of us are in this picture. You can thank Trash Panda Texas for that one. All right. Spain triggers the largest migrant amnesty in European history, 1.3 million applications. Wow. There's no reversing this. You've lost your country, people. You've lost your country. Whitney Webb talking about the UN Agenda 2030 as a plan to impose a digital control system on humanity via programmable digital currencies, carbon taxes, and energy quotas as part of a broader effort to reduce the world's population. It's not really sustainable development for the good of the planet and the people. It's a lot of it is really aimed at ensuring that people are onboarded to some type of digital control system for easier management of the masses. Once you take control of the money, you can begin micromanaging people and what type of economic activity that people can engage in. Ultimately, if you limit the amount of energy that certain households can use, you're probably also limiting the size of the family that they can have. Supreme Court's grace period for mail-in ballots is dangerous, and liberals will say the fraud is not widespread until it is. It's a Carl Higbie opener here. The difference between Trump and Biden about the Supreme Court rulings. Take a listen.
Birthright citizenship is next. What are your thoughts? Birthright citizenship. What are your thoughts? And will you accept it if it rules against you?
Well, I guess I have to accept it's the Supreme Court, so I'll accept. I think it's very bad for our nation. We're the only nation that does it. No other nation.
Guess he'll have to accept it.
Nation does that birthright citizenship. No, not even close. Some did it, they ended it. It's tremendously destructive. It's extremely costly. I don't know, it's up to them. But in terms of for the good of the country, it'd be great if they didn't allow it. It would be great.
Birthright citizenship is
compare that
next. What are your thoughts? Birthright citizenship. What are your thoughts? And will you accept it if it rules against you?
Well, I guess I have to accept it's the Supreme Court, so I'll accept. I think it's very bad for our nation. We're the only nation that does it. No other nation does that birthright citizenship. No, not even close.
Compare that to Obama.
Supreme Court
Biden
blocked me from relieving student debt, but they didn't stop me. So far, I've relieved student debt for nearly 5 million Americans, a significant number of black borrowers.
Had an incoming there, had to deal with. But yeah, Biden, no, totally different. Supreme Court blocked me, but they didn't stop me. That's very different from, I guess I'll have to accept
Supreme Court blocked me from relieving student debt, but they didn't stop me. So far, I've relieved student debt for nearly 5 million Americans. A significant number are black borrowers. So you can chase your dreams, start a family, buy your first home, start a business, and so much more. Supreme Court.
Yeah. Check out yesterday's show. SCOTUS upholds mail-in ballots, blocks the Trump Fed firing and geofence warrants. Plus geofence warrants and agency removals. There we go. All right. There's a bunch more to talk about. But I think that's where we're going to leave it for today. Thank you all for being here. I mean, so much of today was just cannibalized by the courts. It's what's on our minds. I'll be back tomorrow with some more. Highly unlikely that I could go live tonight. Never say never. So stay tuned. Maybe there's a possibility I could be live at 9 p.m. tonight, but today feels highly unlikely, nearly impossible. Some days work more theoretically possible than others. Today doesn't seem to be one of those, but you never know. You never know. But what I do know is I appreciate having you all here. And I'll be back tomorrow at noon Eastern Time. Signing out on behalf of everybody out there in the TNAM universe. I appreciate you. I love you. And we'll talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Peace.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.